What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Now with Money in the Bank tonight, what surprises will Smackdown have in store for the WWE Universe? Join us now as we look at the first July edition of the Blue Brand, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Logan Paul announced for Raw, Adam Cole facing possible long recovery, the Hardy Boys done for good, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out Wrestlelamia.co.uk and our non-wrestling channel, Incredible. As always, we won't recap the matches, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. Well, mind you, speaking of Money in the Bank, be sure to check back tonight as we provide a full recap of the show, as well as our exclusive analysis as we look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly of the pay-per-view. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, when in doubt, have a battle royal. Now, you can't bring Brock Lesnar in every night, so what do you do if you need an exciting segment? Why, you have a battle royal, of course. Well, Smackdown started things off with a battle royal featuring every man participating in the Money in the Bank ladder match, as well as 4 men looking for the 7th and final spot: Ezekiel, The Miz, Happy Corbin, and Madcap Moss. This segment was well done in that it gave the fans a sneak peek at the mayhem to come at Money in the Bank, while also giving an all-star flavor with wrestlers from Raw and Smackdown on one show. The match even showed how the 6 other competitors might form an uneasy alliance during Saturday's ladder match to deal with Omos. This was one of the best opening segments on Smackdown in quite some time, and deservedly goes in the good. Number 2, the Viking Raiders take a level in badass. The Viking Raiders are back and badder than ever. Eric and Ivar completely crushed the New Day before their match began, smashing them with their shields and laying out Kofi and Xavier. It's good to see a team this big looking like 2 monsters rather than 2 big bozos who look like they belong on main event. Watching the Raiders so dominant gives you hope that SmackDown's tepid tag team division has a new team to watch out for. Number 3, announce something completely different. Fans expecting a contract signing segment were in for a pleasant surprise as SmackDown went outside the box to present an Ask Me Anything segment between the Street Profits and the Usos. The segment was a refreshing change of pace as it teased the beginning of a split between Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. While we're not looking forward to yet another tag team splitting up, the WWE's lackluster use of the Profits over the last year and the incredible potential in Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins as singles wrestlers could make the split worthwhile. Number 4, Big Time Bex' big boast. Becky Lynch stole the show during the 6-person tag team match between the team of Liv Morgan, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss versus Shotzi, Raquel Rodriguez, and Lacey Evans. Big Time Beck's pre-match promo that she's the biggest threat to anyone on the women's ladder match was typical Lynch rhetoric, yet entertaining as ever. Number 5, an excellent Fatal 4-Way. And the main event Fatal 4-Way was the right way to end this show and worked well in several ways. The first was determining the 7th and final entrant for the men's ladder match. The second was to bookend the existing open battle royal with an even more exciting 4-way clash. The third was to further the tension between Happy Corbin and Pat McAfee, a match that looks like it could be even better than Theory vs McAfee was at WrestleMania 38. And Madcap wins. And Madcap Moss's win makes it clear that WWE has plans for him as he's on his way to Money in the Bank. Although it's too early to tell what level the WWE would like to push him to, i.e. upper card, main event, etc., he's enjoyed a powerful push so far, and a Money in the Bank appearance could help him even more. We're glad to see Moss in the match because every Money in the Bank match needs a dark horse entrant who has a possibility of winning, even if there are other wrestlers who are more likely to win. But that was the good. What about the bad? Is number 1, a depleted roster. Watching the stars of Raw and Smackdown colliding was entertaining, whether it was the Battle Royal, the 6-person tag match, or the Fatal 4-Way match. Nonetheless, these matches demonstrated just how depleted the Blue Brand is of top stars. As we've stated before, it's going to take time to elevate new stars, and Smackdown is doing the best it can, whether it's superstars such as Madcap, the Viking Raiders, or even Max Dupree's repackaged wrestlers. But there's no denying this significant shortcoming on the Blue Brand. Number 2, more Max Dupree disappointment. Max Dupree finally unveiled his clients, introducing the repackaged Mace and Mansoor. On one hand, it's difficult to think of Mace or Mansoor's career getting any worse, as both superstars have been spinning their wheels on main event. On the surface, it seems like a classic case of it can't get any worse, but it can if Vince McMahon suddenly has a change of heart. There was nothing downright ugly as SmackDown featured some exciting matches, a brutal beatdown, and plenty of hype for Saturday's Money in the Bank premium event. The WWE didn't phone this one in, and it was one of the best Smackdowns in some time, proving there's more to the show than the Tribal Chief. What do you guys think of the Blue Brand this week? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Our first story looks at Adam Cole could be out for a long time. Atop of the news today is more medical mayhem in AEW, as it looks like another AEW star is facing a long recovery, as there are reports Adam Cole has not one but two injuries affecting him. This latest injury to an AEW star is leading to a frank discussion of why so many AEW stars have been hurt recently. Dave Meltzer reported in the 4th July 2022 Wrestling Observer newsletter that Cole, who has been wrestling with a torn labrum, his shoulder, suffered what was believed to have been a very serious concussion, leading to a rushed and awkward finish of the IWGP title match as Jay White pinned him. While it's unknown how long Cole's concussion could keep him out of the ring, Meltzer shared his layperson's opinion on how Cole should proceed with his medical treatment. It's probably best to fix the torn labrum with surgery, or at least with a lot of rehab, but that would also mean a long time out, and clearly by the fact he was wrestling on it, that means he's mentally wanting to continue, but it's better to get it fixed now if possible. Now, we noted in our previous news video, AEW star Santana is believed to have suffered an injury during the 29th Dynamite's Blood and Guts match, and this follows the injury to Cole as well as injuries suffered by Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, and possibly even Matt Hardy. Naturally, this many surgeries is bound to raise questions as to why so many wrestlers are dropping like flies. And we've asked this question, as have many fans. Is AEW's style too rough? Is it just a string of bad luck? AEW certainly isn't alone in injuries to its top stars, as both WWE's Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes are going to be on the shelf for several months. There's also the school of thought that argues AEW wrestlers don't work enough matches as opposed to wrestlers who tour on a regular basis. Meltzer brought up a question of AEW wrestlers taking too many sick bumps, but they need to cut back on dangerous matches and stunts that increase the odds. There will always be fluke injuries because it's pro wrestling, and if you have a lot more movement and hard hitting, sometimes, as Paul Levesque said, one guy zigs and one guy zags and suddenly somebody is hurt. Now, AEW's routine regime of sick bumps on Dynamite seems like an obvious disaster waiting to happen, and as fans have seen, wrestlers seem intent on outdoing their fellow wrestlers. What seems like an epidemic of injuries is a situation that must be addressed, even if it's just a case of bad luck. Next up, Logan Paul scheduled for Raw. The WWE is wasting no time with its latest signing, as Logan Paul is scheduled for Raw on 18th July. By now you've probably heard news that the YouTuber recently signed a deal with WWE. Now it appears he'll be on the Red brand in just 2 weeks. There's plenty of speculation that Logan Paul will face The Miz at SummerSlam, as the two teamed at WrestleMania 38, defeating the Mysterios. The Miz's post-match surprise attack on Paul makes it inevitable that the two will square off, and SummerSlam seems like a good place to start. Believe it or not, SummerSlam is just only 3 weeks away, and the WWE will likely have some other big matches for the biggest party of the summer. Next up, a new Bloodline member. Now, is a new Bloodline member coming to the WWE, and if so, where will they wrestle? Well, that's a question fans are asking in the midst of a rumor about an addition to the Blue Brand's resident wrecking crew. Fightful Select is reporting that current NXT star Solo Sikoa could be soon on his way to the main roster. Wrestling News' Paul Davis noted that Sikoa is the younger brother of Jimmy and Jey Uso. There have been rumors of one or more WWE superstars joining the Bloodline ever since the group formed, but so far none have joined, although Zayn is trying his best to get in. One scenario for the WWE to introduce a new Bloodline member would be to have the Usos announce an addition, with Sami Zayn thinking he's finally joining the group, only to have Solo show up and help his brothers destroy Zayn. Do you guys think a new Bloodline member is coming? Let us know in the comments down below. And finally, are the Hardys splitting up for good? Well, that's the impression Matt Hardy seems to be sending, and if so, what's next for Matt? Brother Matt discussed his legendary team with his brother Jeff and how Jeff's current DUI case could impact Team Extreme's future. Matt dove deep into the situation during the latest episode of AEW's YouTube program Being the Elite. The former Woke One discussed how he and Jeff were scheduled to compete for the AEW World Tag Team Championship at Road Rager, only for Jeff to be pulled from the match. I don't put that on Jeff, I don't blame Jeff for that. I look in the mirror and go, I'm the one that keeps bringing him back. I'm the one that is obsessed with this legacy of proving ourselves as one of the greatest tag teams ever. Maybe it's taught me one thing I can say with clarity, is that not winning the AEW tag team titles has left me broken. But not broken in a fun, fantastical way, not at all, certainly. Broken in reality. So why do I give a shit about anything anymore? A rumor has it that the Hardys were scheduled to win the belts in the three-way ladder match. But what does the future hold for Matt? Well, he discussed further saying, start a new version of Matt Hardy and build it off of a real scenario, which there are a lot of things that I'm very upset and disappointed about that we didn't have this run that I really wanted to have. And the take I tried to put on by saying maybe it was on me because I'm the one so obsessed with cementing our legacy. Maybe I'm here and I'm all in for it, but maybe Jeff isn't. What do you guys think is next for Matt Hardy? Let us know in the comments down below. I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.